everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm in a scarf in my own bedroom this morning because it's so cold outside. It isn't actually even that cold. It's like 10 degrees, but for me, I'm feeling cold. I am sitting down today on the 17th of November 2016 to film my October reading wrap up. Literally no excuse for how late I am with this. But I read a load in the month of October and I never wrapped it up, and I've got 5 spare minutes, so that's what I'm gonna do now. So sorry that this is so late. I mean, it's halfway through, more than halfway through November, and I still haven't done this yet, which is awful. But don't they say better late than never? I think, yeah. So I read a total of 7 books in the month of October. It's so tempting to say November as we're now in the month of November and it's so close to November wrap-up time. But I read 7 books in the month of October. To be honest, it was some and some. I enjoyed quite a few of them. A few I didn't care all that much for, but I'll dive right into them. So it's been so long that I can't actually remember the order in which I read these. So I'll just dive into the top of the pile. Okay, so the first book I read I actually reviewed on my channel, and that was Our Endless Numbered Days by Claire Fuller. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the books as I hold them up. I might have to hold them up in front of my face. Essentially, this is a book about 8-year-old Peggy. Her survivalist father kind of like kidnaps her and takes them both to live in the woods when she is 8. I enjoyed this. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I think that the plot was very, very disturbing, and I think a lot of people were quite kind of shocked and saddened by the twist at the end, which I can completely understand why you would be, but I think some people kind of felt a bit ambushed by it. Again, I can see why you would be. I personally really like it when a book plays with you the way this book plays with you. But I think the subject matter itself is a little sensitive, so be warned if you are hoping to read this or might possibly pick this up in the future, that it's a really nasty, unpleasant shock at the end, and one that does lay very heavy. It's definitely not a book to read if you kind of want to feel happy at the end of it, but it is a good book nonetheless. The next book that I read in the month of October was The Reader by Bernhard Schlink. I'd say The Reader is an extended character study on this young adolescent German boy and an older woman called Hannah. And through their story and through the details of relationship, blah blah blah, through the details of their relationship, the book kind of starts to philosophize on like power and responsibility and guilt and remorse and all sorts of really kind of deep, very human questions, which I wasn't expecting at all. I was expecting this to be a love story of sorts. Maybe not your typical love story, but a love story of sorts. Basically, it's set in wartime Europe, Second World War Europe. And it's only kind of throughout the second half of the book that becomes more relevant, and we begin to learn a little bit more about the type of character that Hannah is, against the perception that this boy had of her when he knew her. It's really, really interesting. This is very much character driven, so if you like character studies, then this is great. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read is also a absolutely amazing character study, and that is Eileen by Otessa Moshfegh. Probably the favourite book that I read the whole month. I just absolutely loved it. Again, this is a character study. This follows Eileen, who is a young American woman who's very, very bizarre. So Eileen is an incredibly disturbed and disturbing character. She has lots and lots of strange habits. She's a young woman living with her alcoholic father, and I won't go as far to say she's sociopathic, but she definitely has some sociopathic tendencies. She's just a very strange woman. There's lots of quirks about Eileen that really do make your skin crawl. That said, Eileen is definitely one of my favourite characters of 2016, if not just in general in fiction. I I loved her, I hated her, and I loved her at the same time. And I think that when a book does that to you, it's incredibly interesting to see how your relationship with that character develops throughout the book. The story is just incredibly bleak, the setting is bleak, the writing is very, very simple but very humble and beautiful, really, really evocative and very kind of like noir inspired. I really, really, really liked it. Again, this is a book that I plan to do a full review on. I haven't really prepared what I was going to say about these books, ever unprepared. This book definitely deserves a kind of deeper delve into. I loved it. It will very possibly make my best books of 2016 list. I loved it, really loved it.